Hello, welcome to the Sports on Pulse. I'm Gary Al Smith, and as we've been doing for the past week, we are continuing the build-up to that big, crucial game between Egypt and Ghana in Alexandria. It will be on the 13th of November, and by all accounts, it will be the reason why Ghana will make it to the World Cup in 2018 or not. The prevailing logic is that should Ghana lose that game, then it's all but over. But you never know. Don't forget that the Black Stars lost against Zambia in the last World Cup qualification, the first game, but went on to top the group. In studio with me is Benedict Owusu-Dankwa to look at a very good piece of news for the Black Stars. Benedict, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure,
and the news is that one of the most talented players that has come from this country, but who has had so much bad luck, Kwadwo Asamoah, is back again after having injury problems. And Benedict, that's him on a good day, unplayable.
Yes, absolutely. But the talking point is that if Kwadwo Asamoah is back on the pitch, is he going to play for the Black Stars?
Yeah.
Is he going to be fit from now till the time we play against Egypt, which is just 2 weeks ago? Because remember, Kwadwo Asamoah, when he returned from injury last season, did very well for Juventus in pre-season, and actually some of us were worried that he was not going to get much playing time. But it happened that Kwadwo Asamoah was playing week in, week out until that knee injury which rocked him, which he was actually supposed to be out for 3 months, but managed to make a quick return, which is amazing for him as a player and also for Ghana. But my big worry is, if Kwadwo Asamoah is fit, now what's next? Is Kwadwo Asamoah going to play for the Black Stars? Because we've known Kwadwo Asamoah to be a player who has been absent for the team in the last 1 year or so. Since Avram Grant took charge of the team, he's not played for the Black Stars. So if Kwadwo Asamoah has recovered from this injury and he has started training for Juventus, well, it's good news for the player, and one will say it's good news for Ghana. But the big question is, will Kwadwo Asamoah will be in a right frame of mind to join the Black Stars team? Because there's this talk out there that when Kwadwo Asamoah is fit and there's an impending Black Stars game, which it looks like he's going to get a call-up, he picks up an injury.
Okay, now we'll look at the issues one by one. The first one being that, you know, you mentioned a quick return. It's been a problem with some of the major players in world football. Lionel Messi was virtually had to be forced to go and get some rest because he wanted to come back in time for some of their games in the Champions League as well. Kwadwo Asamoah coming back now, do you think, and I am one of those who's going to admit that Juventus have one of the best medical facilities, but shouldn't they, as everybody, allow the young man to rest and fully regain his fitness before coming back? You
know, last season they did something tremendous with him because they knew his injury problems. He was not always featuring in games. Even when he was fit, Kwadwo Asamoah was not hardly even making it to the bench, which most people thought that probably was still injured.
Yeah.
But when you speak to the player one-on-one, he tells you that he's okay and everything is fine. It's just that it's a normal routine exercise he's going through to ensure that he does not pick up injuries, because he knows his problem. The guy himself is aware of what's happening to him. If you speak to him on any day, he'll be very sincere to tell you that, yes, I know I'm an injury-prone player, and this has been happening to me since I started my career. It's not today that Kwadwo Asamoah is picking up injuries. Even at Liberty Professionals, it was the same problem until he moved to Europe. So he knows the kind of player he is. That's why you find him to be that very laid back, always want to, you know, play it very soft on the pitch, but obviously will go in, you know, to do what is expected of him. So last season, Juventus, as I noted, did something very interesting with him where they were not playing him week in, week out, and was resting him for some games. But I think this season it has changed by virtue of that performance he exhibited, you know, in pre-season. Well, many thought that, yes, this is a player we've signed, this is a player who has been here for a very long time and he's been doing well. So why not give him that chance where he will play week in, week out? And what did we see? He played 4 games and he picked up an injury and he had to go out for 3 months, and God being so good, now the guy is coming back. So I feel that if Juventus are able to take him back to what they were doing last season and not field him in so many games, at least if Kwadwo Asamoah will come in, let's say after 4 games, he gets just a game to play. I think that for the player himself, it will help. And he must also take that initiative, must speak to the coach and must speak to the club, let them understand that this is my situation. And
I don't think that'll be a problem because he's been injured a couple of times and he knows how that should go. But for our purposes, and you've mentioned that the game is just in about 2 weeks, the Black Stars game. We are just getting to the end of the month now. Avram Grant is supposed to, by what we know, be naming his or giving his squad to the GFA on the 27th or 28th,
yeah,
which is just, you know,
some few days away.
Thursday or Friday, latest by Saturday, it has to be done.
And even Avram Grant now they've already sent invites to the players that will come. Yes. Yeah, so
we understand that. Now this is the whole situation. Now after the game against South Africa, the friendly game that was played, Benedict was in South Africa for that game. 3 days later, Avram Grant was in Ghana to have a meeting with the GFA. There they drew a plan of what to do. And even though usually, per FIFA rules, you have 14 days to be able to give notice to the players, the GFA said just to be sure that the players were able to get all their visas for the games that were coming, they want him to do that in 20 days, which is why Avram Grant will be naming the players for 27th or 28th. Yeah,
we will definitely get to know maybe 7 days or
5 days to the time. Also, the key issue, and we'll come to Kwadwo Asamoah again, but we spoke to George Free on Saturday, and he gave us a hint that the Black Stars will be playing one friendly match before the 13th.
Yeah, exactly.
We know that it's going to be they are going to be camping somewhere. Can you confirm whether it's Turkey like we've heard?
Yeah, it's Turkey they're going to come. What's going to happen is Avram Grant actually does not want the other players to come now because he's looking at the proximity. Now you call a player from the US, the player would have to travel from US to Ghana. You call Asamoah who is in Dubai would have to make a long trip from Dubai to Ghana and some other players. But so what he wants to do is he wants to use Turkey as a camping base, and it's not new to Ghana. Remember, last time we were going to play Egypt, we camped in Turkey before moving there. So it's just for proximity, where you will get the players travel 2 hours, 1 hour just to Turkey for them to meet and also have their peace of mind. You know, when they come to Ghana, whole lot of issues across sports stadium, pitch issues. So if you're in Turkey, where you get the best of facilities to train, and obviously that will be very good going into that game because, you know, it's a game that you noted clearly that even if we get a draw, it will be very difficult for us to make a fourth World Cup appearance. Our West should be a win. Yeah, that should be our West. And obviously we have to settle for that. So they are going in with all seriousness, and the FA are in talks with two clubs, that's Tunisia and also Algeria, to see if
two national teams.
Yeah, two national teams, at least to see if we can play one of these teams before that game, because it will obviously be a very good test for us to either get Algeria or Tunisia to play. You know, they will also be preparing for their World Cup qualifiers as well. So if we're able to play them, it will be a very good test for the Black Stars going into that game against Egypt. Right,
now that we have this in the background, let's go into that Kwadwo Asamoah matter again. If we should have the names of the players, then you have confirmed from your sources that the invites and the invitations have started going out. 27, 28. Juventus have not started using him. It's going to be extremely difficult for the club to release him in time for the Black Stars game.
Yes, very interesting you made that point, because even when Kwadwo Asamoah was fit and was playing week in, week out, he
did not want to come.
He did not want to come, and now he has just recovered from an injury. But, you know, looking at the game, and if you talk to Avram Grant and even the management committee members, this is a game we need all our Arsenals. We need players like
we need the very best.
We need the very best. And they've all been mentioning it week in, week out. And if Kwadwo Asamoah is fit and he started playing, Andre Ayew definitely will come and play that game. Because even if West Ham do not use Andre Ayew, trust me, Andre Ayew will come and play that game, because we need players like that. If you have a fully fit Asamoah, you have Kwadwo Asamoah who is fit, Andre Ayew with the other players, man, it means you have the best of team to play. You look at this current Black Stars team, even with the absence of Asamoah Gyan, Kwadwo Asamoah, Andre Ayew, they've been doing it. It's just in the last 4 games where we failed to pick results. Draw. We've not lost any game. So if you get these 3 guys coming together fully fit, with Jordan Ayew, Mubarak Wakas, who we understand, you know, he also picked up an injury, and he recovered to play their last game on Monday, which was yesterday. So if you get all these players very fit going into that game, I think we'll have the best of squad to face the Egyptians.
Right, so talking about the best of the teams for Ghana, you might have heard that Avram Grant, since he came in, has never had Kwadwo Asamoah, Andre Ayew and Asamoah Gyan at the same time, ever, since he came in. But even with that, he's been able to reach the final of the African Cup of Nations.
And even with Asamoah Gyan and Andre Ayew, you realize Andre Ayew will come in for 2 matches and Asamoah Gyan will be off. Now, we had Asamoah Gyan play the last 2 games. Andre Ayew not around. But we are hoping and praying that this time will not happen.
So that's the other side of the equation to Avram Grant and all the criticism. Because if you sit down and look at his luck with the available personnel, there has been no time really that he's had all his best materials there. No, even during the African Cup of Nations,
yes, of course,
Asamoah Gyan was half fit, Andre Ayew had his shoulder, you know, so there's all that. But quickly, as we wrap up on the discussion, what do you pick from your inside sources in the Black Stars mentally, the Black Stars Management Committee, the Ministry of Sport, are they finally working towards making this, you know, a coordinated effort to beat Egypt on the 13th?
We have no option if we want to qualify for the World Cup. If that's what we want to do.
We have no option. Are they doing that?
Yes, of course. And yes, no. If we have no option, and you will sit there and you will not do that. But per your, you know, my interactions with them, if you speak to the sports minister, obviously will tell you that he's so much into the game against Egypt. Well, he even approved that they go out
to Turkey
to, you know, train there before the game against Egypt. Avant-Garde, of course, is looking at the best of players to use for that game, and management committee members absolutely want to, you know, do their best so we can also qualify. So that game is a do-or-die game, especially when we play these two matches, and the rest of the qualifiers will be played somewhere next year. We must try and secure...
Quickly, 2, 3, 5 seconds before we go. Asamoah was injured briefly. He's back. Is he in full form?
Yes, Asamoah is back. His last game, he scored, and that's good news for us.
Was he fully fit when he played? That's my thing, because he got injured only a week ago.
But Asamoah played the full 90 minutes of that game, so if he was able to do that, then obviously, I mean, he should be very fit for that game.
Thank you very much,
Pleasure.
Benedict. It's a very interesting time for the Black Stars. All our best players taking the curve into their 30s or having injury problems, and even Andre Ayew, who is one of the best players in the Black Stars, and age-wise, is not too old, 26-ish thereabout, but still he's getting injuries, and we should really be looking up to the next generation. We'll be continuing the build-up to Egypt versus Ghana. Don't forget that 75,000 Egyptian fans will be allowed into the Borg El Arab Stadium. Ghana must be ready, and you must be ready as well. I'm Gary Al Smith. Follow us on social media for more. We'll be back soon.